Hello, and welcome to this developer Let's Play. My name is Leon, I am one of the developers for CSVR. So let's begin. I'll start by selecting a new game. My personal favorite is the tropical map Fairview, which is a bunch of islands. So, perfect place to make your own tax haven, city. Alright, and we're in. And if we go up into the bird's eye view, we can see that we have indeed 1, 2, 3 islands. Let's start at the beginning. So we'll jump back down here and let's start with the highway. The highway is divided into two parts, and there will always be one highway somewhere on the map or that you can access depending on the map. The two sides, as you're looking the way I am, the left is in, the right is out. The icons that are sort of pulsing above means that the roads aren't connected, and what that means is the left-hand side now, the in, goes up to a dead end, and in the case of the right-hand side, it means no one can actually drive on that part, because you want to make sure these are a closed loop. Let's start by placing our first roads. I am going to do a bit of a sneaky, and that is I'm going to, because we only have one type of road here in the beginning, we have only the 2-lane road, I'm going to make sure that I'm paused so I don't actually lose that much money on it. I'm just going to pause it, put a small stretch of road, and then I'm going to just immediately delete it. Once you've placed your first road, you actually unlock a bunch of new stuff. Most prominently, of course, is the zoning. But in our case, what we really want is, or that I want, is the medium road selection. And that is the 4-lane medium road. And the reason for that is when you start playing the game, a good thing to do, and this is a good thing to do in general, just pause the game, take a step back, take a look at what the area you have to work with is like, and start to sort of plan ahead. You want to have not necessarily everything, but sort of in our case, in this area, I'm probably going to want to have a main road going through. On the right hand side, I'm thinking I'm going to do some residential. And then on the left-hand side, I'll do my industrial. And one of the part of the reasons for that is people don't generally like living next to a big, loud, polluting factory. So I want to split them up. So I'm going to start by placing this. I'm going to do a straight road. Just straight ahead, like this, like that. So we have our first set of road. And you can see now the first icon disappear because now there is an actual road for this in to go, but the out is still complaining. And to fix that, I will actually go back a few steps into the small roads again. I'm going to choose the 2-lane one-way road. And again, the reason for that is because once I start having people moving in and cars running around, I want to make sure that some roads aren't accessible in that way. Like, if I put a 2-way road here, there's nothing stopping a car from going up that road and going back, and that can cause congestions unnecessarily. So I'm going to place this 1-way road, and now I have a closed loop in this sort of small area, so both of these icons are gone. But I only have one main road, so to speak. From that, we can start by making some pre-work for our zones. So I'm gonna switch to the curved road. I'm gonna actually put a curved 1-way road down this way, which I think that's gonna look really nice. It's about here, let's say. And now you can see the icon is back because this is a 1-way road, and then it just stops. It's a dead end. There's no way to get back. From here, I'm actually gonna switch back to the normal 2-lane road. I'm gonna continue this sort of along the shore here, and maybe a bit up there. Actually, I'll pull the main road out a bit more. So let's go. Probably gonna want to have to go over there at some point, so let's do that. Let's actually go ahead and remove this section. I'm just gonna put a actual roundabout here, because I'm probably gonna have both the industrial and the residential area connected to it. So I want to make sure, again, control the traffic flow as much as possible. So let's go. This is going to be a really weird looking roundabout, but So it wasn't a very small roundabout either, but yeah, that works, sure. Put the 2-lane road, and I'm gonna connect that up here, like that. Beautiful. All right, so now we have a sort of residential beachfront section, so to say. And I'm gonna use the gravel road for this, mainly for aesthetics. In this case, I just want to have a small little sort of back road like this that I can put a few more houses in, just to fill this area. And then on the other side, let's do another smaller road. I'm doing small roads on the sides and then a big road in the middle because, again, the big road is going to carry a lot of the traffic. The small roads are probably not going to carry that much traffic, or at least not all of the traffic. And I kind of want to be mindful of upkeep. So everything you place out, except for maybe decorative trees, I believe, do cost upkeep. So you want to keep that in mind. A lot of roads means a lot of upkeep for them. So let's see, I'm gonna put the industrial road down here, sure. And then I'm gonna move it, I'm gonna change it to curved. I'm gonna curve it up this way a bit. And then I'm gonna go ahead and, that could probably be a straight road actually. Just down like this. And now of course I wanna optimize at least this side as much as possible, because I want to have, you know, make sure I make full use of areas. This is more aesthetic, so that doesn't matter. If you want to make sure that your roads are as optimized as possible, when you place roads, you can see there's a extra like thicker line that I can connect into. That highlights where these sort of squares will meet up. So if I move down to here and then I move down, you can see that they meet up perfectly. So I can sort of optimize the area I'm building in. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to go back to the curved road. I'm going to curve this slightly just to match the shoreline a bit. And that. And I'm probably going to put a small up there. So now I have a area for industrial. Probably have commercial going through this area here, and I have my area for residential. Let's start by actually zoning these. And of course, my game is paused right now because I don't want to have to pay the upkeep while building. Also a great tip. If you have things you want to plan, pause the game. If things are going absolutely wrong and everything is burning and you're hammering money, pause, look what's wrong, fix it, and then start the simulation again. So I'm gonna put down I'm gonna start with the industrial zones actually. Yeah, let's do fill. And I'm gonna fill these areas, I think, with industrial zones. I'm gonna dezone this, and a quick way to dezone is the right hand grip trigger. You don't actually need to go back into, there is a dezone tool, but if you're inside of a zoning tool, you can just use the right-hand grip trigger to dezone, then you can rezone it again. And of course, I can do that without being in the same kind of zone. So if I were in, let's make that the industrial again, I switch to commercial, I can still dezone this and just rezone it as commercial if I want to do that. Let's do these areas as well. I'm gonna change to the brush tool and just paint this area actually, because I don't want to destroy the pretty trees that are around here. So I'm gonna put down more industry along here and along here, and I'm gonna skip that side, even though I could put down things there, but there's trees, so I want to minimize that damage, because, you know, we're green, we're nice, we're friends with nature or something as we put down these carbon spewing industries. So let's start by having a few houses here along the beachfront. Now, of course, I'm putting down more zones than I actually know whether or not there will be demand for. That is fine, as long as there is like a demand for it, it will be built. If there isn't a demand, it just won't be built. So it doesn't really matter that much. But yeah, I'm gonna actually brush a few houses here, I think. And maybe a little house there, just keeping out away from the trees. One here, why not? I lost my there. Oops. There. And then finally, I can do commercial. Oops, there we go. I'm not going to do commercial inside the roundabout, but I can do it around the outside, some here, maybe a few along this stretch of road. That's a lot of commercial. Let's not do this one, actually. There's a lot of trees there. This, these ones, and that should be good there. So now I have my zones, and if I were to start the simulation again, I just unpause it. Now I'm a bit sped up. You can see I'm already starting to having to pay upkeep for the roads. These things will start building even if there aren't people coming in right now. So you see they're starting to like zone up and become buildings. There we go, they're now starting to build. I'm gonna pause it again. So because we have demand for it, they're gonna start building it. And you can see we're already losing some of the residential demand because residential buildings are being built. There's probably cars coming down the road to inhabit these houses as well, but we won't see them for a while. But we're missing one thing, and that is, or actually two things. We're missing water and power. So let's start with water. And of course, all water needs two things. We're going to need an input of water and output of water. For inputs, we have the water tower and the water pumping station. I prefer the water pumping station over the water tower. No real reason, I just like it. Water towers can be placed anywhere on the ground. Water pumps need to be, they can be placed on the ground, but they need to be like attached to the shoreline with water to actually work. If you do use water towers, keep in mind putting them close to industrial areas that are will pollute like the surrounding area may make the water polluted, so that can make people sick. If you want that, that's up to you. So let's start with the water pump. Yes, and a thing to think about when using water pumps, especially when we are going to use the water drainage pipe later, keep the water drainage pipe downstream from the water pumps. And what that means is, if you look at the water here, you can see these sort of arrows. That means the water is flowing in that direction. So if you have a water pump and a drainage pipe, make sure that the drainage pipe is either far enough away to where the pollution is diluted out into the water enough, or that it's down from these arrows so that the sewage water doesn't get pumped back up by the pumps later on. But I'm going to go ahead and put a pump right here. And of course, this is going to need electricity and need to be connected to the actual houses and piping systems. I'm going to do that as soon as I put down the drainage pipe, and I think I'm going to put the drainage pipe farther away up here where the stream is not only a lot smaller, but I think this stream actually goes the other direction, so here should be fine. When there isn't a strong current, the water will sort of just gather, so we might end up with a really big green pool here of sewage water. That's again kind of fine, as long as we don't pump it back up and we don't put like residential areas here because we want to live next to a sewage. And now we can go over to pipes. And you only have one type of pipe, that is enough. The pipes are divided into two sections or two sides, which is going to be visible now that I place it down over here. The blue is actually fresh water and the green is actually sewage water. So what that means is I can use this one singular pipe, or this pipe network that I'm about to set up, and connect it to both the fresh water and the sewage water over there later on. And you can see there's a zone around the pipe. That is the zone that the pipe is actually working with. So you can kind of think of these as the main, and then the zone around them is the pipes that will be going into the building. So you don't need to keep the pipes underneath every building. You can just put, as long as they're inside the zone, that's fine. So let's start with a main, or a main, I guess you could say, going down this main road. And I tend to keep pipes under roads because that ensures that the area of effect is always on houses. And then I just branch it out where I need. You can of course min-max this as well by putting pipes in the areas where, you know, they're just up at the edge of each other, but that doesn't really matter as long as you don't necessarily spam pipes everywhere. It should be fine. So like here, I'm gonna go up like this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna connect this to the main area here. This one is actually going to miss some water if I don't put it down, so I'll put down another pipe there. And now I've covered everything. So now, once I hook everything up, they'll all have fresh water. As for sewage, I'll just take this corner that's closest, I'll just draw a pipe over there. So now there's also a sewage connection, and it's all in the same one system. So yeah, now we have water, or we will have water. The thing we need now is power, because these things run on power. So let's go into the electricity section. And the two main types of power we have right now are wind turbines and coal power plants. Of course, coal power plants will create pollution. They'll create a slight higher amount of electricity than a windmill, like a singular windmill, but you need to place them next to roads and they cause pollution. So let's go green, let's go windmills. And now there's a different view. You can see there's this sort of shading of green along the ground, and that actually indicates where the wind is the strongest. So down here where it's kind of blanched and white, I got 3 megawatts. If I move this up to where it's much darker green, I suddenly have 8. So I want to place these where there's a lot of wind going, because I want to maximize their output. So I think I'm going to put them down here. And I'm going to probably do more than one just to be safe. Maybe 3. So I'm going to put down 1 here, and I'm going to put 1 almost right next to it, because it doesn't matter as long as it's green allows me to place it. I'll have 3 here. And you can see now they have this sort of blue area around it. Actually, all buildings will have this blue area. For power generators, that is the area that they have an effect, so that's where their power will go. For buildings that don't generate power, that is the area that you need to connect to in order to power them. So in this case, the area for the pump has sort of merged with the area for the windmills. So the windmills will actually power this water pump now, and I don't need to do anything. It'll be worse for the sewage drainage pipe that isn't connected, but we can fix that as well. So if I just go ahead and move back into power lines, same blue area, and again, this blue area will be on the zone buildings as well. So as buildings are being zoned, yeah, you can see it right here. They have this blue area. This will grow with more buildings. So if you have everything sort of merged into one giant blue area, everything's going to be powered. Let's draw some power lines. I'm going to draw a power line here, and I tend to draw the power line close to, but not on top of the grids for buildings, because that ensures that they will be within these zones once the buildings are built. Draw it down here. I'm going to go over to the other side of this road, and I'm going to pull it along the shoreline here, actually. Like this, keeping away from the trees, and there we go. So now this, through this line of pylons and power lines, this is now connected to that. So once I start everything up, these will start to sort of transfer that power over to this, and that will be powered. And I'm going to start the simulation again. We should start seeing these guys spin. Yep, there we go. They start spinning. I'm actually have a pretty fast speed right now, so let's slow it down so you can see what it looks like normally. They're spinning. If I boost that back up, I can go into a info screen here. If I go to utilities, electricity, then we can see that these pylons are now blue, so they're transferring the power. And these guys, of course, are now complaining because they don't have electricity, because they're not connected to the system, because their little zone is away from it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a pylon here, up to here, and then just going into this area next to the water tower, because again, this is a powered area in the power view. So this is a powered area, and now you can see these are powered. Now they're all powered all the way over here. So this is just going to grow now. Everything is zoned, things are being built, there are cars coming down the freeway, everything is powered, everything has water and everything. This is a good start and a good place to end this video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save on my left hand controller. There's a button underneath, like on the left bottom of the thumbstick. If you actually look at your Quest 2 controller, it's like 3 horizontal bars. If I click that, I'll have my pause menu, and in it I have the save games. So I'll click that. I have a few saves already. I'll click the new save above that. We'll fade to black for a moment. And then we're back, and you can see here, that is my save. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.